What a ball, it's your boy Goku here today. And very little do I ever feel the need to make a video on a toxic cesspool person on a toxic cesspool like Twitter. But, so today, at artist_J Robbins chose to go out of his way on a post that I had commented on about the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan transformation, which is a blue haired transformation. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is a title. The definition of the title is a Super Saiyan God who has gained the transformation of a Super Saiyan. Just like a Super Saiyan is the title of a Saiyan who has gained the transformation of Super. Okay, it overlaps pretty much. Is the way they've done that. So pretty much, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is a god, a Saiyan race in God form who is in Super Saiyan 1, pretty much. Now, the way I worded my reply is SSGSS stands for, not title is, but stands for Super Saiyan God gone Super Saiyan. Thus, it would be something other than a Super Saiyan God base form, because the original poster, NordFX, you know when it was called SSGSS, and he posted an image of Goku with the God form transformation red, okay, which is base God form. Jordan, the best last, chose to reply to this. Now, Jordan, the best last, is the dude I was talking about, Mr. Artist_J Robbins. He chose to reply to my post, which he clearly, obviously, didn't read it with a, it's just Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Nobody ever said the title was anything different. What we said was what it stood for. As in, what does that title imply? Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan could mean many things, for all we know. So I was saying what it stood for. Just like if we need a prime example, if somebody goes up to you and say, what do you stand for in life? You're not going to say, oh, my name is Bob Dole, because that's the title of your name. It must be what you stand for. No, you're going to tell them what you stood for in life, what your overall goals were meant to be, who you were, all that type of shit, all your accomplishments. Now, I replied to his post, which at this point, you're coming on my post, my comment, out of the billions of comments on here. Nobody directed a comment you prior. So out of the billions of comments, you chose mine to correct grammar of. Now, that is defined to, when you go online and correct somebody's grammar, it's defined to grammar trolling, which is a form of cyberbullying, okay? So at this point, you've already labeled yourself a bully. Now, when I replied to him with, I never said the title Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, changed. I said what it stands for, which is Super Saiyan God gone Super Saiyan. Just like SSG, title Super Saiyan God stands for a Super Saiyan gone God. I told him, learn to read how a post is worded before attempting to correct it. Now, notice the way I worded it, because if you learn to read how a post is worded, I said, and listen close, learn to read, there's a follow-up part to that with no comma, how a post is worded. So it isn't just a title, it isn't just a comment of learn to read like you're insulting or putting somebody down or saying they can't read. No, it is literally me telling him to properly read a post, a individual post. So my comment is directed about how a post should be read, not that he can't read in general, okay? So at no way is that a insult, like you're grammar trolling me, aka cyberbullying. Now, he chose to respond to this by not replying to that post. No, he was going to screenshot my reply with his caption above it of saying it's Super Saiyan God. So, literally in his screenshot, it'll just show him saying it's just Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. And then it'll show that whole different thing. And then he chose to add to this on his own profile as a individual post with this caption. This is the reason why I'm not at all going to. And by the way, since it's on his own profile, it's not a reply, it's been now taken out of context. Nobody can see what the before was. And it is now, this is the reason why I'm not at all going to talk about Argon Ball, which if I wanted to be like you, I could correct that grammar right, you, but I'm not you. When I start my other products later this summer, if people in the Dragon Ball community are this fucking stupid, so now you're saying just because I'm a fan of Dragon Ball that makes me stupid? Well, you have a profile of Dragon Ball. Does that mean you're also fucking stupid by your own logic? I beg to differ. I don't think you're stupid at all. I think you're playing the victim card by doing this. And it goes on, he pretty much says, and get defensive and talk down to others. I don't want anything to do with it. Now, I love, if you guys would make a quick note of that. So he started off this whole thing by grammar trolling me, aka cyberbullying. Correct? Cyberbullying. Okay. So that's a form of talking down to others. So he talked down to me when he chose to correct my grammar through grammar trolling, aka cyberbullying. And then after he chose to cyberbully, I bet because he was already bullying, he was automatically under the pretenses any responses he gets as a bully is going to come off as a rude response to him because they're not going to be happy he's bullying them. So then he gets to go around and claim, now we're bullying him, play the victim card, take a small screenshot out of content so he thinks he can get all the hate directed towards me, thinking I won't put the entire chat and a full-on video on all my social media platforms. Tag him so all his fans can see. That's not how it played out, buddy. You don't get to bully somebody and still think a victim card applies to you. And if you need a prime example of that, people, I'll give you a prime example. If you walk up and threaten somebody with a knife, and just remember this is a hypothetical example. So if you walk up and threaten somebody with a knife to stab them, and they turn around with a gun and shoot you, are you entitled to complain to the cops that because you threatened them with a knife and they didn't threaten you with a object of similar violence back, such as another knife, that somehow you are a victim because they were more dangerous in that scenario? No, you don't. You're not a victim. You were the instigator. You were the bully. You don't get to play the victim for any response you get. It is Newton's law. For every negative action, you must be willing to accept any and all negative reactions. And for every positive action you do, you are willing to accept any and all positive outcomes. And if people need an example of that, if I threaten somebody and I later get murdered, I was willing at the beginning of that threat that I was willing to accept any and all outcomes. Just like if I hold a door for somebody and an hour later they chose to give me $100, that was a possible outcome of me being generous. Also, another possible outcome of me being generous is I don't get anything in return. It's just being generous from that person. But maybe something later down the line comes back as generous that normally wouldn't. Okay? You chose to be a grammar troll bully. You got a rude response. You then chose to, while in that same post, you tried to play a victim and claim somebody else is the rude one and talking down to you. You called them a fucking stupid idiot, okay? Now, if I go in were to say, hey, this Jordan dude's a fucking and this is me just wording hypothetically pretending to be him. If I were literally to go, this Jordan dude is a fucking stupid idiot, but he's talking down to me. Does that justify me now talking down to you by calling you a fucking stupid idiot because you talk down to me, I guess? No, it does not, dude. You are literally being a hypocrite in that scenario by complaining about somebody talking down to you while calling them a fucking stupid idiot. You are being a hypocrite, okay? You led by cyberbullying. And you finished by talking down to somebody while trying to play the victim card. So, I hope this works out well for you, bud, because the facts are going to be on my timeline. I'm not going to let somebody try to target me based off your out of context posts.